And I did say please. Oh.
Damn good coffee and hot.
Damn good coffee and hot. Yes, it is. Good morning, folks. I made the coffee today. It's Thursday, June 9th, 2022. Kind of overcast and expecting it to rain today. And you know what that does to me. But I got my flowery, happy Miami Keys shirt on to try to lift the mood a little bit. Anyway, good morning. I hope it's a beautiful day where you are. It's not a beautiful day here. Had a wonderful show last night with Matt Farley, the world's most prolific songwriter ever and filmmaker. Interesting show. Matt's a great guy. I was a pleasure meeting him. Hope you will check that out. Say hello to Hawaii Dog. Good morning, Kelly. Hawaii Dog. You know what's on my mind today? Um, if you like the cock, you get the shock. That's what's on my mind today. Marjorie Taylor Greene, uh, representative out of Georgia. Yeah, and if you don't know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is, good for you. But she's a Republican congresswoman from Georgia. Probably the one who planted the bombs at the DNC during January 6th, but that's neither here nor there. She hired an intern. An intern was 36 years old. Intern at 36 years old. Wait, you know what? If you're just starting out interning at 36 years old, clearly you've made some wrong choices in your life, mistakes. You've made some mistakes. You're starting out as an intern. Interning is for teenagers, college students, maybe graduates for a year. 36 years old, you're interning. It's a clear indication that you fucked up along the way. So this guy she hired, who's 36 years old, was speaking on her behalf about how he used to be gay, but electroshock therapy, or as I call it, torture, saved him. And his mantra was, "If you like the cock, you get the shock." I just want to say this: if first of all, electric shock therapy is torture, but if you think that shocking someone can make them straight, you have to take the gay out. Get the gay out. Then obviously electric shocks can put the gay right the fuck back in. um, it makes absolutely no sense. Uh, here we go with the luau crap again. Good morning, cat. Cat. I am not in Hawaii. I am in Dogtown, USA. Talking about if you like the cock, you get the shock. Um, but this whole idea, because it's not the first time it's been presented, and it's not funny, especially if you're gay, and it's not really a nice shirt, but thank you. It's I'm trying to lift the mood because the weather here is so friggin' New Yorky. New Yorky. You could tell I haven't been up very long. I'm kind of silly and giggly, and still working on the first cup of coffee. Um, but this whole idea of electroshock therapy for homosexuality is just insane. It's not the first time it's been. When I was in the hair and beauty industry, one of the makeup artists, guy David Matters, used to tell me about. He is um, very adamant hater of Michelle Bachmann because she was married to a guy uh, who was a counselor, a gay conversion therapy guy who would his uh, shock away the gay was his was his. I'm sorry to laugh. It's just so stupid. I know if you're a gay person, you don't think this is funny at all. It's actually dangerous. Saying basically we can waterboard you to get you straight. Now this guy who's doing it for Marjorie Taylor Greene, he claims that it worked for him. It saved him because he was gay and now he's not gay. No, no, that's not the way it works. If you like the cock, you like the cock. You're suppressing your like for the cock, but that doesn't mean you're straight. It means you're resisting temptation. I guess. I don't know. Why am I talking about this? Because it's just fascinating to me because people think that homosexuality is something that needs to be cured, and they have the answer that will fix it. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene comes out to defend this guy and says, um, it gets more bizarre as we go along here because okay, I've already presented the idea that if you can shock the gay out of somebody, you can shock the gay right the fuck back into somebody, or just take a straight person and shock them enough, shock the gay right back into them. There's no reason electroshock therapy should only work one way. Marjorie Taylor Greene comes out and tries to explain away his comments, saying that he was a young man, he was raped by a priest, and that made him gay. No, that's not how it works. Rape does not make you gay. If I were anally raped or orally raped, or however, I'm sorry to laugh at this, but it's just so fucking stupid. If I were orally raped or anally raped, that would not make me gay. If I went back to it on my own choice, back to anal sex with a man or oral sex with a man of my own free will after that, that would make me gay. But that's not what made the rape didn't make me gay. The gay was who I was. I just used the rape as an excuse. These sound bites are not gonna work for me at all. I'm sorry. It's Pride Month, and I'm just trying to highlight the stupidity of the people who think, first of all, it can be cured, or that things can, like rape can make you gay. Getting raped will make you gay. So that's Marjorie's position now, that he he was traumatized, that made him gay, and the electroshock therapy helped helped him get. Now she's leaving out her ace in the hole, her 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 money card, the card that is supposed to work is Jesus for her, right? That's what she always said. You could, and Michelle Bachmann, not the husband, was always pray away the gay. He would shock out the gay. But so if Jesus can't do it and electricity can do it, you got a problem there with your Messiah. I'm sorry, you got to kind of. So you're saying that praying to Jesus, and which is the answer for everything, whether it's gun violence or deviant behavior or drug addiction, praying is the answer for everything. Praying to Jesus is the answer for everything. But it doesn't work as well as electroshock therapy, you kind of dissing your messiah there just a little bit. Like you're saying you're not as good as a 9-volt battery. Yeah, it is called a battery. A 9-volt is a battery. The other things are called cells. This is little things like that, but it's for sticklers out there. Anyway, it's just odd um, that they are don't see the inherent problems in their own. Uh-oh. I'm getting emails now about work I got to look at. Um, in their own logic, in their own ideas about how things work. If again, summing this up, if you if you like the cock, you get the shock. Basically, puts out the idea that um, you can shock the gay out of somebody, and the converse of that has to be you could shock the gay into somebody. That doesn't work. I could sit here and zap myself all day long with electricity. It's not going to change what I think is hot. What gets me going sexually, just not. So you can't shock the gay out of somebody. You can't shock gay into somebody. That's not going to work. But going further, if a 9-volt battery or whatever they're using to shock somebody is more powerful than your messiah, you got to rethink your messiah. It's just not you're not doing your own religion, your own religious propaganda a whole lot of good with that argument about shocking away the gay. Anyway, that's where I'm starting today. Yes, that sounds like a good place to start. No, it's a ridiculous place to start. So, that's that. Good morning, William. William, we got to get you booked again to come back on the show. I know yesterday. Uh, Good morning, Chad. I haven't seen you in a while. Shocking the gay into someone, the probe goes indifferent. I did because of the now. I'm sorry, that's funny, but I can't. I've already said enough stupid shit for one day on that subject. Maybe I should just leave it alone. Uh, oh, well, oh yeah, yesterday, Jackie and Kiara started because Jackie, I learned something new. We've known that Kiara is what she calls a Bible hugger for a while, but Bible hugger. It's like mixing up. It's like, yeah, that's like something Biff would say, Bible hugger. Anyway, but we found out that her ex-husband was a Muslim. I did not know that. So a Christian and a Muslim in a marriage together, having children, raising children together. How's that work? Um, but Jackie uh came out with, well, Christians are as bad as Muslims. And I was like, okay, that's where we end the show because I knew it was, oh no, we're going to get into a debate about religion here. And I know William he had some things that he wants to say about that. And I encourage him. I'm not against having a discussion. I've had Dave the Prophet on. I'm not against having religious discussions on. If they get contentious, I'm not even necessarily against that. Getting the allergy shit going on here. But I know William had a couple of things he wanted to say, so I want to get him on the program and let him express his thoughts on this. Pardon me with the allergy stuff. So you should do that. Get in touch with me and let's get you on in the near future. I got openings this month. Let's get you back on. Good morning, Dean. And who else have we got in here? Dean, Chad, Sugar Cat, Loaf, Kelly. I think that's about it in the chat rooms right now. But Kevin, good to see you all. Kevin's got the life of Riley. About to go on another vacation, traveling. I don't know the world, but um, America. Who does who got it better than you, Kevin? Who's got it better than you? I know you're bored with teaching that course. You expressed that yesterday on Twitter about bored doing that. How many times can you do that? Uh, but hey, the reward at the end of it is pretty good. No, you get to live the life of Riley. I'm just trying to give you something to be grateful about. Anyway, um, where was I going? I forgot where I was going now. This happens when you're old. Um, oh yeah, the big thing tonight. I have psychic medium Annie Larson on, and she knows I'm a skeptic with this whole psychic stuff. She's been on my program before. I have to review when she was on. I'm going to Hawaii. Uh, I could go to Hawaii, except I don't want to fly at this point. I I'm still not ready for flying. Wow, Mike, you tested positive yesterday after saying and you were just on saying about um how you were the only one not vaccinated in your family or something just yesterday. I'm sorry you're not feeling well. Yes, you're gonna another one with the shirt. Hello, Paul. Early riser Paul is with us. Yeah, the shirt is to try to lift my mood from this really shitty weather that we're having today. Trying to keep on track with my own thoughts here. So, Michael, get well soon. I know last time I had COVID, it beat the fuck out of me. First 3 times I had it. That's so fucking crazy. The first 3 times I had it, I had no symptoms at all. Uh, but yeah, if you believe in jinxes, you did jinx yourself. Absolutely. That was my thought. But I was I was raised by a father who was jinxophobic. Very jinx centric household. Everything was a jinx. So yeah, I think you jinxed yourself. But and me, the skeptic who doesn't believe in a lot of stuff, I can't let go of my father's just indoctrinating me into the jinx culture. So I think you jinx yourself a little bit. Um, so I have to review because she made some predictions. Annie's going to be on the show tonight. She made some predictions or some statements about me when she was here last, but that was 2 years ago, and I don't remember what the hell they were. But I want to go because I've had so many psychics on the program, and they've all made predictions about me, and the ones I remember did not come true. Obviously, I don't remember what Annie said or intuited about me. I'm gonna go. I need to review that before tonight. But that might be because the airways, unless you're a Fox News watcher, every channel will be covering the insurrection hearings tonight. And if you're not interested in that, I don't really need to watch that. I really don't. I know Trump did it. I don't need to be convinced. I don't need to see it laid out in any kind of form. Trump did it. It's obvious. I watched it in real time. I watched 3 rallies where he said, "Go." I watched where he said, "I'm going to walk with you down there," and didn't. I watched when he went to the White House and watched him do it and refused to call it off in any way. Trump did it. You don't need a dog and pony show on every channel in America to explain that. Well, I guess you do to fucking idiots. People who are just too fucking dumb to understand what they see right in front of their own fucking face. I don't need it. So if you need a distraction from that and you don't want to go to Fox News, watch me with the psychic trying to figure out uh and maybe I was thinking about maybe asking her about making some predictions about what's going on in the hearings in real time, and I don't want to put her on the spot. I don't. The old me would definitely relish this. Uh, trying to test psychics, but I do think that at some point you got to demonstrate in a real way. If you want people to believe in this stuff, you have to make some demonstrations on it, demonstrations of validity. And I, in 45 years of doing of the look interest in this stuff, I've never seen any real demonstrations of validity that I can cling to. Uh, what is Kevin saying? I've been paranoid lately about people having it and avoiding it. What, COVID? Um, uh, a cat talking about jinxes, gamblers think that way. Yeah, my father was a bookmaker and a compulsive gambler before he was a bookmaker. So yeah, uh, absolutely. That's where I got indoctrinated to the jinx mentality, and I absolutely. If you, well, I'm not a baseball follower, not really a fan, but if you see what I'm writing on Facebook about, and I know a lot of you people are not on Facebook, but if you see the kind of crap I'm writing about busting balls about the Mets and Mets fans and all this kind of stuff, a lot of that is jinxed. It comes from the jinx perspective in that if because these people are celebrating like they won the World Series already, and I'm like, you're jinxing the shit, man. I got to teach you people. Well, if you're a fan of a team, you never say anything good about them. Never do. When I was a baseball fan, I was a Met fan, and I don't want to see people who are still Met fans jinxing it. And so I'm really busting balls heavily on how they suck and they can't win and all this stuff, and they keep winning. So that's proof that the jinx stuff actually works. Uh, Sitting here as students troubleshoot takes them an hour to fix what you can't find in 5 minutes. Yeah, no, I get it. But have you had the COVID before, Kevin? Because I don't know. I don't know. Well, I'm not going to go down that road. I don't, because if I start talking about what I believe, I'm not a scientist. I've been a scientist, but I'm not a doctor. And there's so much fucking opinion about this shit that I don't want to add to the fucking noise about it. But uh, while it did kick my ass the last time I had it, it wasn't worse for me. For a million people, it was worse. For a million people who died from it, it was worse. But it wasn't worse for me than a really bad cold or the flu. But I'm generally a pussy with that stuff all the way. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember you had it back in January. Um, and so with the cold or flu, I do tend like in cold and flu seasons, and I'm gigging out there. I'm always it's always in the back of my mind. Don't let anybody touch your microphone. Watch who you shake hands with, all this stuff, because it's the season when that shit is contagious. But I don't let it stop me from living my life ever. I mean, I'm 63 times around the sun now. I'm a gambler, I guess. I guess I am a gambler. I mean, for a little, it's for me. I don't even though I'm of the age where it certainly probably could be a life or death issue. I don't feel like it is. So that's how I choose to live my life. But I'm not saying anybody else should. But I'm just so worn out by living paranoid about it that I don't even really give it much thought when I'm out. I think I'll probably die of monkeypox before I die of COVID. uh, ah, um, what you clearing lungs out and getting over fatigue was the worst part. Yeah, you know what? I hear you. It's no fun. Stop licking monkeys, cat says. Uh, my brother was one of these guys who. Oh, look, I'm scratching the monkeypox. My brother's one of these guys. Who believes in nonsense? First piece of crappy article that comes across social media or internet stuff. So he was one of these guys who tell me, "Yeah, monkeypox originated from a gay bathhouse." Like, no, no. Maybe, maybe that's how you got it, but you can get it really just by close contact with anybody who's got it. Now, I don't. I haven't really followed the, and maybe I shouldn't joke about monkeypox. Um, it's the name is silly in my opinion, and with a silly name like that, I have to, because I'm a child. I'm a child. I mean, I hear monkey, and all of a sudden, I'm like, I want to watch Lancelot Chimp, Secret Agent Lancelot Chimp. Um, and chimps are not monkeys. I'm aware of that. So please don't correct me on that. It depends on what monkeys you're talking about, Kelly says. Hey, hey, don't mess with the monkeys. Um, but I just say, so maybe I should stop. And Sunday's gig, last Sunday, I was just all over, just joking about the monkeypox. I think the owner of the restaurant doesn't like hearing those jokes. And like, hey, you could be scaring the customers away here with you. Because I kept saying, the gnats will bother me. I kept saying I was scratching the monkeypox. Well, no, chickenpox isn't as funny for me. I don't know. I hear what you're saying. Logically, what you're saying makes absolute sense. Chickenpox is as silly as monkeypox, but monkeys are sillier. Monkeys are fun. Chickens aren't fun. I never, who has fun with a chicken? I don't want to go. Who has fun with the chicken now? I just opened up a whole other uh, can of wax there, or can of worms, ball of wax. Can of. I'm a Bible hugger now. I'm retarded this morning. I'm sorry. Mike Vanderveen, comedian and musician out of Dayton, Ohio, will be with me at 10 a.m. today. I don't trust Mike. And I'll tell you why I don't trust him. Because I'm looking at his Facebook profile right now, and it says, "Well, recovered heroin addict. That's fine. That's that's honest. Stand up comic, singer songwriter. But here's the part that I don't trust: happily married. Either you've been a victim of electroshock therapy, or you're lying. I know nobody's happily married. You're married. You're content. Maybe happy. I'm gonna have to address this with him. Happily married. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not buying it. I've been married twice. I'm married now. I would say I love my wife. I'm happy I met her. I think I would probably be dead without her. I can't imagine life without her. But, marriage is not something that works towards happiness. It really isn't. I mean, marriage, as much as am happy, I love her. I'm happy and that she's in my life. The idea of marriage, being married, is an anchor in a lot of ways. It stifles your life. It's like having your independence with some chains, and they don't call it ball and chain for nothing, right? Excuse me. So I'm not. I'm all full of fucking trouble today. I'm gonna, everybody. I'm trying to make everybody hate me. Conservatives with the shock the gay away, pray the gay away. People who are pro marriage, and Well, I think marriage is an important thing for a lot of people. The subject of monogamy comes up every time I have, relationship coaches and people who, life coaches and all this kind of stuff on the evening program. It's just like how important. You know what? I forgot to give people the links today. I'm going to do this right now. Um, how important is marriage, the concept of marriage, to happiness and a good society, a society that is people not killing each other. The family structure, how important is that? I don't know, but I do know this, uh, that uh, even the most happy people, people who are really, really committed and in love and just love their spouses to death, still have that aspect of ball and chain. Because you're not yourself. You're not one person anymore. You're two people. No matter how you look at it, you can't make decisions. You can't really have your life is not your own. So anytime I see somebody put happily married, I'm like, no, you're doing that just because you know she reading it. You're saying I'm happily married because you know your wife is visiting the page and that she needs to see that, or your life will be hell. That's the truth. I'll discuss that with him when he gets here. Uh, uh, Half of marriages fail anyhow. How important can it be? Well, no, I don't mean, how important can it be? When you look at, how do I put this? 'Cause I don't want to sound like a far right wing nut job, but family structure I do think plays an important part in development, in maturing correctly. Well, when you see a lot of these guys who are just psycho, shooting people up for no reason, most of them come from broken homes. That's true. So I do think there is something to if you're going to have children. Now, the other part of that whole argument is you don't have to have children. Nobody says you have to have children. But if you do have children and you want to raise them right, I think marriage is probably better for children. Uh, how a couple sees themselves goes a long way. Well, you buy a mirror. That's how you see them. I don't know how a couple sees themselves. Um, Interesting. Interesting. No, definitely. I could tell you my first marriage did not work because I was very immature at the time. But there wasn't a sense of partnership. There wasn't a sense of, and again, it's not about me. It's not about me, but it's about me. Being who I wasn't willing to let her have half my life. And meaning, I saw myself as a musician and artist first, and so in the studio, and she was trying to make constructive decisions because she saw my livelihood as affecting her, rightfully so. And I wasn't ready to accept that. Couldn't have that. I talked about that with Matt Farley last night because Matt is a independent songwriter, filmmaker, uh, and his wife is very supportive of what he does. And we talked about, the how important that is if you're going to be married and you're going to be an artist and that stuff. You have to be married to the right person, somebody who gets what you're doing and wants to be part of it. I had that. My wife got in my first marriage, my wife got what I was doing and wanted to be part of it. I didn't want any Yoko in my life. I just did not. And I think I've said that probably 15, 20 times in the last 2 days. Uh, and I could not. And if I think back on it now, the things that she said in the studio when we were recording, uh, which were her takes on what should have been done were probably right. I just did not want to hear them. I was more than a control freak because I was willing to accept some direction from bandmates and people I worked with. I didn't want my wife doing it because I didn't want the Yoko complex. I had that. I grew up with that. Yoko ruined the Beatles. And that was firmly in my mind. I wasn't going to have any of that in my life. No way. I'm not letting any girlfriend, wife, any relationship talk about uh, have any effect on the work I do. I just couldn't do that. I didn't want to fall into that trap. And if I psychoanalyze it, there's a whole bunch of shit. Uh, yeah. Ralph, who knew my ex-wife, has said she was so supportive of your career to the point I was impressed. It takes a lot to impress him too. So anyway, Kiara's in the back right now, so I'm going to bring her in. Get out your Bibles. Let's pray. What? You didn't think? What? Morning.
What? Good
I,
morning.
I don't know. I've been on a lot of rants today. I started. If you like the cock, you get the shock. You know about that? Do you know about
No,
that? You
no.
don't know about that? All right.
No.
So part of the political Christian movement is that, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was a representative out of Georgia, hired an intern, a 36-year-old intern, which is, to me, says a problem. If you're 36 and you're interning, you probably made some mistakes along the way in your life because the interning is for teenagers and college students and maybe graduates, but not for 36-year-olds generally. He went on this big speech about if you like the cock, you get the shock, meaning electric shock therapy is the way to make people not gay. Now, to me, my take on that is if you can shock the gay out of somebody, then you can shock the gay into somebody. If electricity is all it takes to change your sexual orientation, you could do it. Should be able to work either way, but it's just a bizarre idea because I think electroshock therapy is torture. It's flat out torture, and
Yeah.
and so Marjorie Taylor Greene, in trying to make an excuse for him, says that when he was a young man, he was raped by a priest, and that made him gay. And it was only electric shock therapy that saved him. And I was like, well, first of all, if getting raped can make you gay, you were gay to begin with. That was your excuse to go that way. Yeah, it was what opened the door to you to say, "Oh, okay, I can use that as an excuse to." And then at some point in his life, he decided he didn't want to do that anymore, and the electroshock therapy, whatever, was his excuse for changing or his way of justifying his making a different life decision. I don't think that you can shock out the gay. That's my point on that. But it gets even deeper because she's a religious person, a really religious person. And I say, if you are a Christian and and this is where I want to get your opinion on it, if you believe that Jesus can save you, praying that Jesus can save you, then saying that electroshock therapy is the answer is disrespectful to your Messiah, your Savior, because it should be. If you're a Christian, you should be saying praying is the going to do it. If Jesus can't do it, and a battery can do it, or hooking you up to electrodes can do it, isn't that disrespectful to Jesus and Christianity in the faith?
I don't agree with electroshock therapy, but I know that there are certain medicines and certain foods and herbs and things that God created that can heal us. So it's,
Heal us. You think gay needs to be healed?
no, I'm
You
not talking
think
about being gay. I'm talking
Well,
about like
no,
medicines.
but that's what I'm saying. So they're saying that the only way out of being gay is to hook them up to electroshock. and and but on the same thing, she wants you to pray for gay people to change them back to being or make them into heterosexual somehow. Now, to me, you if that's your point, then you should go full hard into the Jesus thing and forget about the electroshock thing. Because if you're saying the electroshock thing is necessary, you're you're basically saying Jesus's power is not as strong as as an electric shot, like a
I
battery.
thought we stopped electric shock therapy. I
No,
thought we stopped that.
yeah, and not it's not New York. You can't. There are different states, but Georgia has it, and so I think Michigan, one of the M states, not Mississippi, Michigan or Minnesota, or
Mm,
um, one of yeah.
wow.
Minnesota, I think. No, I think it's Michigan. But no, there are it's still some states where it's allowed.
Wow.
And I think it's torture. I definitely think it's torture.
Yeah.
But
They
that shot,
definitely did it at the psychiatric center
right?
in Kings
Yeah,
Park.
at King's Park. I
Definitely.
know we talked about that.
Definitely. When I go there, I always get these just oof, these feelings that things just were not right there. It just looked terrible. It just looks terrible. We hiked through there and we just
Right.
look at the buildings, and then they had little kids draw like little kid pictures and put them on the windows of the giant brick buildings they
I'm not
used to
sure it was
house.
little kids.
No, it looks
When
like
you saw the pictures there, because my friend, I had a friend who was in there. He was in there on a suicide watch, but he had to do that. He was in his 30s then.
so you're saying it's from the patients,
Yeah,
the old patients?
not always old, but yeah, all adults. Yes,
That's even creepier.
I know.
So now wow. So now instead of looking at like broken glass, we're looking at old patients' pictures
Yeah,
hanging.
basically,
Wow.
they did all sorts of weird kind of things like that. Like draw a picture of your addiction, write a love letter to your addiction. Uh, dear heroin, I love you so much. I miss you. Whatever,
What?
crazy, crazy kind of stuff. Yeah.
You know, I
So,
told you Matt found a really long femur bone when he was hiking. Like it looked like human size. And it,
um, I did tell you about one because I told you my wife and I were separated. And I was telling you this yesterday. I lived in a house where I got robbed. The last day I lived there, the last day of the year I had rented the house, I got robbed by the people that were living in the
right.
house next door. The first week I was in there, I was out. I was out in the backyard working out and getting high. But and I looked in the ground on the ground and I said, "Wow, dog bone! Somebody must have had a dog here." And I started kicking out the dirt around the bone, and it turned out to be this. I said, "Wow, this looks like a
Mm.
human bone." And then I started digging around, and there was a skeleton buried in the yard there. So I called the cops. And the cops came and they were like making a joke about it, and they knew I was high and they were laughing. He goes, I said, the neighbors don't like me here. And the cop said, well, I got an idea. Why don't you run down the road and I'll chase you? But so they were having a good laugh at me and with me about this thing. And he goes, yeah, it looks like there was, this looks like a murder or somebody buried a body in the yard. But they weren't doing anything about it. And they thought, what, you look like a cesspool cover. He goes, what's in here? I said, I don't know, probably a cesspool. And the guy kicked the cover over a little bit and he looks down and there were 5 or 6 skeletons down there.
Stop it.
I swear. And I'm like, wow, I live in a fucking serial
So
murderer's
what
house.
happens?
Nothing. They
What do you
called.
mean
They
nothing?
called. They called the medical examiners, and they came and took the stuff away, and nothing ever came of it. I know. I know it
What?
wasn't the guy who lived there right before me because he was only there for 2 months. He lived right around the block, and him and his wife were only separated for 2 weeks or 2 months or something. So he didn't have time and these bones had been there a long time. So I don't know if they did a fuller investigation, but the house is still there. It's still for rent. People still rent it all the time. I never heard anything
What?
about it in the news, no follow up or anything. The story wasn't even in the news. Like I was looking for, you know,
Get out of here. You
bones.
should
This.
You should have
discovered as a.
followed up with the police. You should have
I
followed up.
did. I did. No,
What they say?
the
It's no
investigation is
big
going.
deal. There's just
Not,
six.
they never said it's no big deal, but the investigation wasn't leading to any conclusive, no conclusions. So they never solved it.
That's horrific.
Yeah. So where was this femur bone that Matt found?
In Kings Park.
Oh, in Kings Park over there.
In the woods.
Oh.
Yeah. He didn't call anybody. I said he should have called somebody.
Oh, he should have called somebody. Definitely. Yeah, you find something that looks like a human bone. You got to call somebody, right?
I know.
I found one bone that led to a skeleton, and then met several skeletons down in this what looked like it used to be a cesspool. But
Oh my God.
yeah, no, and then I had to live in the house. I'm like, I'm living in a serial killer.
Oh my goodness. And sometimes they revisit their
And
kill
the house
sites.
next door, this is what complicates it. The house next door had been empty for years, and there were squatters in there. I didn't know there were squatters in there at that time, but I
Right.
was always creeped out that the house was supposedly empty, and every once in a while there'd be a light on. I'd be like, "Yeah, something's creepy in that house. There's something that's creepy in that
Ew.
house next door."
Yeah. Well, at least you were I don't know. I was gonna say at least you were a man. It'd be really scary if
No,
a
I'm
woman
not.
was living there alone.
We haven't verified that. First of all, that I'm a man. I've never been a man. I'm a boy. I'm a boy
Okay.
with a Hawaiian shirt on.
It's a nice Hawaiian shirt. I've come to find out you have many Hawaiian shirts, which makes me happy.
Well, I bought these when I got separated from my wife because everybody used to say, I always wear black and dull colors and stuff like that. So when I got separated, I wanted to change my whole.
You separated from your wife now?
No.
Your first wife.
No. Oh yeah, I was separated from Elizabeth, the woman I'm married to now. Yeah, this was 2013. That's when we got separated for a year.
From Elizabeth.
Yes.
Okay, just trying to put it together. Okay.
Yeah, but I went out and bought a whole bunch of colorful clothes just to kind of change my attitude and change my.
Did it work?
No. I'm always gonna be who I am. I'm a curmudgeon. I'm a if you like the cock, you get the shock kind of guy. I just like saying that. I'm sorry. The other thing I like saying is monkeypox a lot, and I got to stop saying that because it's not funny. You can't you can't joke about disease.
Everyone at the restaurant lost their appetite.
I noticed.
Every time you said it, they put their forks down. And I was like, he's just kidding, you guys. It's all right.
But the name, they have to name it something else then. You put monkey in a name like that, I can't let it go. Monkeypox is fun to say. Monkeypox. You don't think monkeys are fun? Like nothing is more fun than a barrel of monkeys. Pox.
I am speechless.
I know. I have brain damage. I'm not sleeping enough, and I'm brain damaged.
I'm not sleeping enough either. It's weird. I passed out when I put the kids to bed at like 1. No, they were up late because my dad came over like 12:30, 1 o'clock. But then I had to wake up again because I had guests over and the house was a mess. So I cleaned until like 3 o'clock in the morning and then went back to sleep.
Your dad's a party animal, huh? He's out on a Wednesday night and late out in the eastern part of Long Island.
Yeah. Yeah, he came all the way here and he was like, I'm starving. So then I cooked a big meal.
Really?
We ate really late, but maybe it's the pasta because when I eat pasta, I feel hungover. I really do. I don't know.
She's drunk on pasta, folks.
I know. I wake up, I'm like, ah.
Yeah, you're not doing good for the Italian stereotypes, I'm telling you right now.
Why? All I eat is pasta.
I know. That's what I mean about Italian stereotypes.
Oh, whatever. It's true. Oh, here it comes. Good morning, America.
Oh, let's all stretch. Here's my stretch. Okay, I'm done with that.
Well, you look like you used to work out, so you didn't stretch before or after. You know,
I
doing little.
used to, yes. When I
Mm,
was a gym rat,
mm.
I was the most limber person in the world. I could shake hands with myself over the shoulder and back, or both ways. Completely shake hands. Now I can't do that at
No, I
all.
can't do that. No,
I used to be
I
able to
can't.
put my foot straight up, my legs straight up.
What were you, a ballerina?
And I was really straight. I was like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan says he could suck his own cock. Could have. I probably could have sucked Joe Rogan's cock too. No, I probably could have sucked my own
What
cock
is
too. I
going
was
on?
that limber.
Yeah, but wouldn't you have to remove a rib to bend to get that?
I didn't try. I'm just saying. I
Oh.
was limber enough. I didn't try. I swear. Don't shock me. No shocks here. I have shocked myself. Maybe that was it. Because when you test 9-volt batteries, often like in the old days, a lot of guitar effects were run on 9-volt batteries, and you just test the battery by touching it to your tongue.
Hmm.
Maybe I did try to suck my own cock and don't remember it because I shocked it out of myself. I'm just speculating here. Um,
Hmm.
so my guest today is William Vanderveen.
Okay.
He's a comedian, songwriter out of Dayton, Ohio, and he says, this is why I don't trust him. It says recovering heroin addict. That's fine. He's recovered. Stand-up comic, singer, songwriter, but happily married. Now I don't trust that. I don't trust that. Do you trust the anybody who says they're happily married?
No
I
comment.
say he put that there because he knows his wife is reading his Facebook profile.
It's possible.
Yeah, no, I don't say there's anything wrong with marriage, and I think some people need to be married. And again, I love my wife. I can't imagine I would be alive if I didn't have her in my life. I think I'd probably be
Oh,
dead.
oh.
And I think she's important to me. But I would never say I'm happily married because I think marriage means you're
Maybe
not
he's
one.
newlywed. How about that? How about he's naive?
Yeah. I guess when you're newlywed, even then, I always felt I always feel like once you decide to be married,
Hmm.
you're giving up your independence. And that's true, I think. You're not one person anymore.
Right.
You're now half of two people. You
Right.
can't make decisions on your own without or you shouldn't.
Right.
You should. And I don't like that. I don't think I think it's against human nature to if you say you're happy with that, then I can't. I'm not my own person. I can't. I got to
Right.
talk to. I got to talk to my partner before I say yes to this.
Right.
That's,
Yeah.
so I would never put happily married on my profile. Although if I have said to women who have hit on me, I'm happily married, but I say that to shoo them away, not because I actually mean that.
I don't know what to say to you.
Because Matt's there. But
No, I can't hear. I've got my headphones in.
okay.
I don't know. I agree, but at the same time, maybe maybe he's found someone. I don't
Well,
know. I don't know what to say. I don't
he's
know.
here. He's here now. He's looking at the screen like, oh, they're talking about me. I could tell they're talking about me.
What can
Of
I
course, we're
say?
talking about you. You're going to
I
be a
don't know
guest on the
what to,
show. I know.
excuse me. Oh, the pasta.
Oh, the pasta. What kind of sauce you make with the pasta?
I made a nice meat sauce. I browned the meat. I put in the garlic.
Wine?
Nice.
Put wine in?
I don't put wine in my sauce. I don't.
Yeah, obviously you haven't seen Clemenza. Clemenza always says you throw in a little wine.
That's from the Goodfellas.
Godfather.
And then, what? Are you sure?
Clemenza's in the Godfather. Yes, I'm positive about
Oh,
that.
well, I'm thinking about the other scene in the Goodfellas when they make the sauce and he's got
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
razor
yeah,
blade.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Did they
Oh,
put wine in that sauce? I can't
Mike
remember.
just left. He was there and then he left. He's
Ooh,
no, he'll be back. I think he
you
was
made him
having
mad.
no. I think he was having audio problems. I don't even think he was hearing what I was saying.
I hope not.
Um, well, he's got to hear it when he gets here. I'm gonna confront him with all this happily married crap. I'm going to put them on the stand, make them swear on the Bible and take an oath or whatever, however they do that. I don't know, right hand on the Bible, left hand. I don't know how they do that.
Did you have to swear when they tried to give you 10 years in prison? Did you have to swear? I mean, that just...
No, or because I wasn't testifying. I just pleaded guilty. I had pleaded guilty before
I can't believe that.
I was
I
pleading
can't believe
guilty
that.
to a red light ticket, and before I know it,
So that was like a town court. That was like a local.
no, it's in Hopog. Yeah, well, yeah, I get
Oh.
no Suffolk County Court.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, how do they give out those sentences? Because I went to a small court. I forgot where.
Oh no,
Farmingdale.
It wasn't. It was Nassau County. It was in Hempstead. That's where it was.
Oh.
But
I didn't know they gave out
huge,
sentences like that without a trial or.
if you plead guilty. And I guess usually you got the plea stuff, the trial is over, and then they set sentencing for another date. But they did it right then and there. Boom, boom, boom.
That's crazy.
They were like, this is why I had a problem, because there were like 500 people in that room, and they have criminals in with traffic people. Like, yeah, you're supposed to have traffic court separate, so I don't have
That's
to
what
deal.
I thought. That's what
Yeah.
I had a separate traffic court.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
that's weird.
And like in this gigantic room, and the judge is saying, oh, yeah. I'm like, I don't hear well, man. I don't know what he's saying. And I feel like really intimidated here. So the cop said, go sit up in the front row. And even sitting in the front row, I heard Michael Nappy. I thought I heard Matt Nappo.
Yeah, and who has a name like that? Who has that name?
Michael Nappy?
So similar to yours.
I've known 4 different Michael Nappies in my life. Well, I don't know that one, but I heard his name in court that day. But I've known other Michael Nappies. And the booking agent who books me in some of the adult homes and stuff like that, her name is Susan Nappy. So
Nappy.
Yeah, Nappy. Nappi.
Nappy and then Napo.
Right. It's
What
a scam.
What the heck? I feel like your name was shortened when your ancestors got off the boat. It had to be something longer than Napo.
I want to do this. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's probably Napoleon.
Yeah, something like that.
It's
just
yeah.
My maiden name too. It's like so short.
I want to do the ancestry or heritage, whatever DNA testing, find out where my people really came from. I was thinking about this yesterday because I was talking to my brother, and we brought up my second cousin who was inquiring into these things, and I was like, if I don't know any of this stuff and it's going to end with me, I don't know. I don't even know who the hell I am. If you don't know about your past and where your family came from, you really don't know who you are.
Right.
Who am I?
Who is Matt Napo?
He's a boy with a Hawaiian shirt on.
He's a boy. He's just a boy.
Refuses to say he's happily married.
Right.
I think maybe we did scare Mike Vanderveer away, or Mike Vanderveen, because he's gone.
I told you. He doesn't want to talk to you anymore.
No.
You've insulted him.
No, I don't think so.
How dare you?
That would be a shame.
I know.
I mean, I didn't mean to hurt the guy's feelings, but
apologize. Apologize.
I will if he comes back out. Mike, I'm sorry. Please come back. If you're happily married, dude, listen. Who am I to say you're not? Who am I to say you're not? I'm a boy with a Hawaiian shirt on.
Who is this guy? Don't listen to this guy.
My William Conway says, my wife and I are doing ancestry for an anniversary present to ourselves. How much does it cost? That's what I want to know.
$99 or something? Oh, that's 23andMe. You know, my family, not to cut you off here, but my family, I think 2 of my family members have done it and have found like unknown or unbeknownst to them siblings from other fathers and stuff. Yeah. So it's really getting a lot of people in trouble. It's crazy. It's like, oh, I have a brother. And then,
I do know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and you, God, you have.
I probably have like 16 brothers and sisters from my father.
About $100, William says. So that's not bad. But I'm not sure how they do it. I mean, because if they can do it, why can't I? If it's just research. But I'm under the impression that some people are doing DNA. You know, they have to send a DNA swab.
Yeah, that makes me nervous.
Yeah.
That makes me nervous. I heard that they're taking all your DNA. So I don't know. I think they're
Doing what?
storing it.
And
I don't
making
know.
clones out of it?
Experimenting. Yeah.
Nobody my DNA is obviously very flawed. Nobody would want it. We don't
Right.
wanna produce more of me.
Right. Right.
Oh,
I mean, if
my
they did, that'd be great. Then they'd be like little mat soldiers. I'd be like, oh, it's just a mat soldier. It's fine.
alright, Mike is back. I'm gonna see if I can
Oh,
bring
all
him.
right. Let me go.
Alright, wait, I play the music for you. I can't let you out without the music.
I'll be back.
And that was a happy minute that we didn't even talk about anything happy. All right, Mike Vanderveen, who is a uh, stand-up comic and musician, singer-songwriter, uh, who claims to be happily married, is here now. Let's meet him. Mike, welcome to Coffee with the Dog. How are you?
Matt, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I don't trust you, my friend.
Why?
You know, I read your Facebook profile, and it's the part about happily married. This is what I've been talking about all morning here. I believe in marriage. I believe marriage saved my life. Without marriage, but I would never say I'm happily married unless I was getting hit on by another girl or my wife was listening. uh, so I'm a little distrustful. That's all I'm saying. You put that there because your wife reads your Facebook page, right?
I think she does. I don't know. I don't really talk.
Singer, a songwriter, and comedian.
Yeah.
Which is you pick one if that's your top priority.
I like doing comedy more, but I'm better at the songwriting.
How do you gauge that? By audience response? But I mean, how do you measure that? Which you're better at?
So I've only been doing comedy for not even a whole year. I started last July doing like open mics and stuff. So I think the novice level that I'm at in regards to comedy is what makes me a better, because I've played guitar for a long time. I've wrote songs for a long time, for coming up on like 18 years now. So
Cool.
just the
Uh,
experience.
we could start there then. Tell me a little bit about your, and we'll come back to the comedy in a second. But tell me about your music, your singer-songwriter styling, like what we typically think of in the singer-songwriter genre, or no? What's your style genre?
So I've always enjoyed songs that tell a story. Uh, I'm greatly influenced by people like James Taylor, Brian Wilson. There's this guy Andy Hall from Manchester Orchestra. So I try to tell a story in like a poetic, intelligent kind of way when I'm writing a song.
Right. You're recording.
I do. I have one song out on Spotify. It's called "On the Yard."
What's it
Uh,
called? I'm sorry.
on the Yard.
On the Yard. And so do you have a home recording studio, or did you go to a production studio and work with a producer? How'd you
I record it myself at home. It's just me and a guitar, and I overdub tracks and
have you
together.
have you done the band thing? Have you had a band and been in a band, or you're basically a solo performer?
Yeah. So the first time I was in a band, it was actually another fact about me. I'm a recovering addict, and I used to be pretty strung out on heroin and opiates. I ended up going to prison for a little while due to a crime that I did to get more of it. Uh, and in prison was the first time I was actually a part of a band. We had like a
Wow.
live room, and yeah, we would mostly do covers, but every now and then we'd try to write something and come up with it. And then once I got out in July of 2018 and started doing like open mics and stuff. And I have a buddy, Jason. He plays the drums. So when we go to open mics, we do covers of songs together, songs that he knows on drums and I know on guitar. I don't know if we can call that a band, but
Yeah, of course you can. I mean, if the Black Keys can be a band, you can be a band. Congratulations on turning your life around. And I hope you're able to maintain that. I've dealt a lot. I've lost a son to heroin addiction, so um I'm very sensitive to the struggles with that, and I've lost more than just friends and family and all that kind of stuff all along the way. So understand, and congratulations on turning your life around, at least to this point. I know it's a maintenance thing. It's it's always the demon is always chasing you, but I wish you success with that and continued success and good stuff. But I have to say, you telling me that you could have a band in prison almost makes me want to go to prison, man. That's what I would love. 3 meals a day, and I could get to play with the band and just go back to my room and nobody bothers me. Now, if I got a private cell, but I don't want to be in a cell with somebody
College.
else. Yeah. Um, so that's an interesting thing. And then you decided to become a stand-up comedian. Why? Was there always something you wanted to do, or was it a dare, or you were just at an open mic night and just got a wild hair and said, "Let's do it"?
Honestly, that sums it up. That's the essence of it. I was at an open mic that they do music and comedy. I was on there for music, and then these stand-up comedians started coming up, and a lot of them, like, I hate to criticize them, they just weren't that good, and it
Yeah.
felt like, oh, I could do that if I really wanted to. So I've always had a talent for engaging in conversation and uh, really gauging what other people think is funny. I try my best to make all my friends and family laugh. I've been like that all my life. So all that experience in figuring out what people think is funny, I coupled that with the hair up my ass of just wanting to get up on stage and tell some jokes. And now I've been doing it for almost a year.
Very cool. Now, do you has it crossed your mind? And I'm not saying you should do this, but a lot of people combine the two. Henry Phillips does it very well. Guitar comedian, a guitar. He has funny songs and stuff like that. But he combines his music with his comedy. Any thoughts about that, or no? You keeping the two separate, completely separate?
The thought has crossed my mind. If I ever happen to have some sort of an idea that brings the two together, then I'll try to get it down on paper and figure it out. I've never really dove into that concept, but it's been a thought that's crossed my mind for sure.
Right. Dayton, Ohio. That is there a comedy scene, thriving comedy scene out there, or music scene? I mean, from what I know about Ohio, because on my evening program, I've interviewed hundreds of people, filmmakers, musicians, fashion people. It seems like Ohio has a cultural thing going on that most of the country isn't aware of, like the creativity that's going on. I have numerous filmmakers, especially that I've interviewed from there, but bands and songwriters, and even a few people in the fashion and beauty industry working out of and particularly in the Dayton area. Do you find it is there like a growing scene out there? Are you part of that, or am I just imagining that?
Absolutely. It seems like every week we've got a new open mic coming up or a new comedy, like monthly comedy show coming up. There's tons of outstanding comics. A lot of them I'm blessed to call my friends. We all go to open mics together. We help book each other on shows. The scene in Dayton, honestly, it's very underrated in my opinion. There's places and regions close by. Like there's a pretty good scene in Louisville. Uh, Kentucky, one in Indianapolis, Indiana. Those are pretty good, but I think Dayton, honestly, I think it's got them beat. Everybody assumes when they hear Dayton, Ohio, they still think we're like the opiate capital of America. We've had that. We've been notorious for that for a long time, but
Yeah,
that's
Dave Chappelle talked about how Ohio is just like the heroin central of America, and I wasn't aware of it until I heard him say that, because I just think it's everywhere.
maybe I just assume that the whole country thinks that because it's all I've heard all my life living here.
Yeah. No, according to Chappelle and the people who follow him, that seemed to be true at least a couple of years ago anyway. And, but I think there are drugs of choice. We could be a whole other discussion to have, but in different sections of the country, like the Southwest was meth central, and Florida is meth heavily into meth, but the Northeast was heroin country, and heroin and cocaine. And you're right. I think Ohio in the state of Ohio had a particular reputation for white people on heroin.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah,
here's sort of a geographical lesson, I suppose, but I learned that a lot of that had to do with we've got Interstate 75 that comes from the northern tip of Michigan that runs all the way down to Florida. And then we've got Interstate 70 that, I mean, you're probably close to Interstate 70 on its east end
right,
that goes to California. They meet right
right.
in Ohio. So a lot of people think that that has a lot to do with it.
I bet you it does. I think there's definitely something to that. And I had an education, and I've driven across country and driven around the states a lot in my life, and never understood the interstate grid. But the even numbers at the zeros are across the country, and the fives are, are like. I never knew that until recently, and somebody laid it out
I
for me.
didn't know that until you just said it.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, where they meet is generally where traffic comes, and a lot of it follows the trucking routes and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, very interesting stuff. Um,
Drugs and prostitutes.
yeah. So now, as far as performing comedy, are you aggressive at it? How you finding? Are you still going just by going to open mics and signing up, or are you looking for dates in advance and planning things? What's the situation?
So I've just recently started to actually reach out and try to get booked for shows. I've had a couple of them so far. There's a newer one just south of us in Franklin. Uh, but aside from that, yeah, I just go to as many open mics as I can. Based on my work schedule, I make it out as much as possible, and just like that's where I can like try new jokes, see which ones work out, and I've built up a nice little artillery of jokes that work for different areas, different open mics, and yeah, I've kind of made it into a set. I've got probably 20-30 minutes worth of material. So
Wow, good for you. It takes and you've only been doing it about a year. That's
yeah,
incredible.
yeah,
Yeah, most people, I know people doing it 3, 5 years or whatever, and don't have 20 minutes.
yeah.
They still got they're still working on a solid 15. So good for you. Um, are you active within like the uh, online communities for all the comedians and comedian groups and wherever you are, Facebook and other social media platforms?
So Facebook, I think, has the stronghold on all the comedians in this area. That's how most of them communicate. I was off Facebook for the longest time the last few years. I just now remade this one that you found me on maybe 3 months ago. So that's kind of helped too. It helped me.
Yeah.
The
I got
comment.
that running across the bottom of the screen, by the way, and it's in the link in the description if people want to check out.
Cool.
Um, but yeah, I find this is I find it to be a good resource for meeting comedians. But if I go into the groups, I'm finding a lot of because you were very hesitant before saying I don't want to bash people and I don't want to be critical of other people. All I find in those groups is people who just trying to put other people down to make themselves look
Yeah,
better or feel better about themselves. It's a lot of backbiting, and I don't. I've always been under the illusion that comedians were above that because I'm used to that in the musician community for forever, and I thought comedians were refreshing in the fact that they didn't stab each other in the back, weren't always putting each other down. And then I go on these comedy groups on Facebook and see, oh, they're just as brutal as musicians are. And it's really not healthy.
yeah, absolutely. I agree completely. It's
Yeah.
brutal times.
Yeah. So on the do you have a supportive group of friends in that in the comedy world that you've met from doing the open mic stuff with people that will support you and kind of not necessarily give you because you don't want to advice is just really trying to people trying to tell you be like them, but people who just support you and say great show, man, great, or any of that, like building a community of friends and supportive people within the industry.
Absolutely. I've met a lot of people that I really respect and I enjoy their company. Uh, their jokes are hilarious. And, there's these two guys, Jeff Allen and Caleb Lee. They started an open mic that when they started it, nobody thought that it was going to go anywhere, but they've just celebrated a year straight of doing it every Tuesday, and it's one of the best open mics in the city. I'm blessed to call both of those guys my good friends. Mike Wells, who's has been doing this comedy for a very long time. He helps to get me booked for the show at our local comedy club, Wiley's, the oldest comedy club in Ohio. I've been blessed to do that show like 3 or 4 times now, thanks to him. Uh, so yeah, the relationships that I've built and established with these guys has helped me tremendously. Not only building friends, but also getting opportunities to get my jokes out there.
Wally's, never heard of it.
Yeah.
Never heard of it, but and that's surprising because I've had so many comedians on that are from the Ohio area. I gotta ask Dave about that. Wally's, the oldest in Ohio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty well. I learned something new today about that. Um, so with it's good to have those people, but and it's also good to have that kind of story of somebody who beat the odds. People were saying you're never going to make it, and they did. So, who stylistically now? Are you a joke teller? You're a storyteller? You're would you call yourself an observational comic? What or have you not even put any thought into like defining your style and who and what you are?
No, I've actually really had to dig deep to find like what kind of a comic I am. I've learned that I'm terrible at crowd work. I can't think of things to say to people off the top of my head when I'm on stage. So I have to think a lot about the jokes that I'm writing. I have to like pretty much it's almost like a script. Like I have to remember them all verbatim, or the joke's just not gonna hit. But I've adapted to that. I think stylistically, the storytelling is a big part of it. The same reason that I write songs is the same reason I go up and tell jokes. I'm really just trying to give a narrative, and I do have like an occasional one-liner. I have a couple of them in my sets, but for the most part, I'm telling stories. I've actually the best criticism that I've got from my comic friends was there's this one joke I tell where it's just a story and it takes me forever to tell it. And it takes like if I'm going to a open mic where I get 6 minutes on stage, it's taking me half of that time just to tell the story to give the
Right.
punch. So they had to tell me like you got to cut a lot of that out because you're just gonna bore people and then they're not even gonna be paying attention by the time you hit the punchline.
Oh, I was thinking about that recently because I'm going to. Did you bark at me? Um, uh, I'm going to Austin in October to cover the Altercation Comedy Festival, and I was thinking about uh, trying to sign up for Tony Hinchcliffe's Kill Tony show, where you go in and you get a minute, and basically, and like, so what can you do in a minute to really make yourself? A minute is, not a long time, even though on stage it could feel like forever sometimes, but to be impactful in a minute like you're saying, like some of my best material would require probably 3 minutes of setup. You can't do that if you only got a minute. So what would actually work in that kind of stuff? And I was thinking about that. So open mic stuff, even if your best material uh requires that you can't have your best material in your open mic, which kind of ties your hands in what you can do and how impressive you can be. It's kind of a catch 22. I don't have the time to be really my best, but
Yeah.
I need to impress people in a very short time. That's a struggle. I think open people who organize open mics need to kind of take that into account and say maybe if I have a guy who has that kind of material who requires some significant setup, give him more time, but put him to back of the show or something like that. It's just something to think about because I don't think it's necessarily being fair. There are guys like Mitch Hedberg who would thrive
The 1 minute.
yeah, because he could give you 15 hysterical jokes
Yeah.
in a minute.
That's
You
just
know?
that Mike Wells that I was telling you about. He's a good friend of mine, and he's been doing this for a while. A lot of his jokes are just one-liners. So
Yeah,
he's hit a 5 minute set. He's getting in 50 or 60 jokes.
right. Yeah. And so I think, and I don't think Man, the crowd doesn't really kind of think about these things. You know, a crowd in a room is just they just there to laugh, or well, sometimes on open mic nights there are other comedians who just want you to fail so that they can. But I mean, in a normal comedy setting, the crowd doesn't think about what kind of comic you are and what you're doing. They're just there to laugh. But I think for people who are prospective bookers and they're looking for people to book, need to take that into account some way. Like style makes a difference, and if you're being handcuffed by a 5 minute thing because your material takes a little bit of time to establish yourself, you could be playing against yourself, and that kind of stuff.
They should
Uh,
almost look into the people that they're booking,
yeah,
watch those, get their sense of style before they
right.
determine. They get.
What is William saying here? A lot of people say cut the fat, but the trick is to punch up the fat. You talking about me? And it's a
Well,
shirt? It's a shirt? Is that what he's talking about? Uh,
no,
yeah, I hear punch it up all the time, and I'm like, what does that actually mean? It means take something you've written and try to squeeze more jokes in between. I don't know what punch it up. Yeah, that's a difficult thing to me because if I wrote it, I thought it was funny as it was. He's going to explain it more to me now. Hold on. Find the embellishments that force the laugh throughout the setup. Okay. Any comments
oh,
on that?
okay, he was giving me advice. I understand now.
Yeah. Um, so when the rooms that you're playing with these open mics, am I correct? It's a lot of other comedians that you're playing for a lot of times.
Yeah, so the one I'll actually be going to it tonight. It's a barrel house in downtown Dayton. There's usually anywhere from 8 to 12 comics on there, and then the place isn't that big. So aside from the comics, there might only be an additional, 1 or 2 dozen people.
Yeah.
So and they all there's like this wall that they all stand along while they're waiting for like their turn to go up. I try to like avoid looking at that wall because I'd only have a lot of those guys like heard my jokes, so like they're not going to be surprised by it. Probably not going to laugh at it very hard. But they're also just like they're other comics, so they're like you said earlier, it's kind of dog eat dog,
Yeah.
paying attention, or they're like they just got stone faced all the time. I try my best when I'm in the crowd on an open mic, even if I'm performing that night. I try my best to laugh as hard as I can at the comics because I understand what that can do to someone's self esteem to just go up there and completely bomb and not get a single laugh.
Well, it seems, and I don't. I've known you 15 minutes now, so I'm not in no place to make this judgment. But it seems like you're a nice guy, and nice guys will have some difficulty with crowd work, as you said, because I think sometimes you have to have a little mean streak in you to be good at crowd work, and the other part of that is being supportive and wanting to support the guy on stage and laugh as loud as you can, or be there for them and not make them feel like a fool. Uh, that was always a big problem in music with open mic nights. People who go there for themselves to perform, they're not really caring about supporting the other people. As soon as they're done, they're gone. They don't stick around for other stuff. Are you stick around after your set to kind of support other, or do you leave as soon as you're done?
Depends on who's after me.
Oh yeah. Well, and that will draw criticism, because, and I understand. Listen, if I've already done my set, uh, and it's a weeknight and I have work the next day, I don't want to stick around and be here late all night. I'm not a kid. I got responsibilities and things I got to do. But on the other side of that is they were there listening to me. I feel a little bit weird about not being there now. Walking out on them.
A lot of the times my conscience will kick in and I'll stick around. But you're right.
Yeah,
I got to work tomorrow morning. It's my bedtime.
yeah, right. Um, Who are you? I mentioned Hedberg. I don't know who are your comic heroes, people that you've been a big fan of.
Segura has to be my number one. Tom Segura. Uh,
Wow,
I really like Nate Bargatze a lot.
Me too. I've been trying to reach out for him to get him on my evening program for about a year now. I really and I didn't discover him until a couple of years ago. But yeah, I think he's outstanding. I think he's one of the most underrated, or one who doesn't get a whole lot of.
He
I
does it
know,
with dirty. Like he doesn't cuss. Well, I mean, he might say like hell or ass, but he's not like a dirty comic. He doesn't tell dirty jokes. It's just his mannerisms. He's so deadpan
right,
and goofy. Like it works for him, and that's got to be the hardest thing to do. Like I gotta, if I'm not up there, I'm not saying every other word is a cuss word, but it kind of gives that extra punch to my jokes. So like they have to be there. So I'm
right.
somebody who can do it without having to cuss all the time and tell jokes about raunchy things.
That's interesting because I think you can be adult and actually not be considered a clean comic without putting what you call cussing. I call it profanity, or cursing, any of that kind of stuff. But I don't think. I think if you try to force clean, the audience will pick up on that it's not the authentic you. Because if you're
Yeah,
not truly, if that's not your style, that's not who you are. To just never cuss, as you say. Um, if that's not your style, that's not really who you are. The audience will pick up on that, and it somehow will affect the power of what you're doing. So I don't think you can force that. But on the other hand, you're going to work a lot more if you can do that well, and your chances for getting television exposure or radio exposure is far greater. So it's kind of a weird balancing act that you have to do to figure out what you can do. Can you take your act where a segment of it that had some profanity in it, cursing, and then make it clean for 5 minutes just to get by on network television or any of that kind of stuff, and make it just as impactful? That's a good challenge.
I've
Um,
seen people accomplish that too, where like I've seen them perform a joke in its profane way, but then I've seen them like there's shows that specifically are just for like clean comics, and your set has to be clean. I've seen people tell like those same jokes that had all the profanity and cussing in it, and then I've seen them cut it all out, and sometimes it does work. Sometimes they're able to tell the same joke only without all the extra words.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm gonna curse a lot. Here I go. Because I got somebody in my chat room who was pissing me off. It's another one of these guys want to be famous by followers, primes, and viewers, and mount viewers. Or on mount view. I don't even want to say that. I don't want to give you a plug for that. Hey, Nicholas 1701, fuck off and die. Thank you.
Yeah,
Uh,
talk, Nick.
yeah, you're banned. I can't. You know what? You streamer dicks to do this. If you were on YouTube, I could ban you. I don't know why I can't ban these fuckers on Twitch, but fuck you, Nicholas. That's what I say to your scammy little buy bots and primes and viewers.
Plug.
Go away. Get a job. They piss me off. Fucking guys. Every day I have to put up with this shit. And you know what? Get a job. Do something. There are more podcast promoters and people who are selling bots than any people just don't want to be more creative than that is all I want to say. Um so yeah, interesting. So have you now you say that you're better at the music stuff, but you're developing the comedy stuff. Have you made a full-on decision to go one way or the other? Or are you still Are you still doing both? You obviously you never give up songwriting. If once you start that, it's worse than a worse addiction than heroin. Which I know, talking to you, it probably sounds like that's a stupid thing to say, but you're never gonna be free from the urge to write songs, right? So that's always gonna be part of it. But are you pursuing it still with the energy that you put towards comedy?
I think right now at this very moment I'm putting more energy towards the comedy, but that song that I released, I just put that out a couple months ago. It was like I go back and forth. Like sometimes I'll spend more time with the music. Sometimes I'll spend more time with comedy. But recently, I've elevated my game with the comedy scene, so I'm kind of trying to ride that high for a little while longer. But if that starts to die out, then music is always a good thing for me to fall back on, because with that, not really trying to impress anybody. It's more like I can do a hard day's work writing a song and not ever show anybody the song, but still feel good about it. If I'm
Right.
joke, people have to laugh at it in order for me to consider it a success.
Yeah. I don't. I'm the worst person. I don't ever. I'm not giving advice here because I don't know shit. I'm a dumb old man. I'm a boy wearing a Hawaiian shirt today. But I like to plant seeds, and it seems to me, and I'm not saying give up the comedy. I support your comedy all down the line and the music. I think whatever fills your soul and makes you feel like it's fulfilling your purpose in life, go for that, because I think that will be the best way for you to maintain your addiction in the past
Yeah.
part of your life. But also, I know that I tried working a day job for somebody else while you're pursuing your dream can be somewhat soul crushing and all this kind of stuff. It seems to me there's a great opportunity in you, and I'm just talking shit here, that motivational speaking on somehow keynote speaking, this idea of turning your life around, the story about going to prison because you've had some struggles in the past, and rising above that, and becoming somebody who has a passion about things in life. That's a great positive message for people, and I think that would pay a lot more than comedy. Listen, comedy is the worst profession to start off in because they're going to pay you in peanuts, and you're lucky to get peanuts actually sometimes. But motivational speaking, you could probably get $1,500 for an hour just to tell you a story. Just planting that seed in case you have any interest in it at all. Any?
Yeah. I think it plays into what I'm good at. I'm good at engaged in conversation. I have a history of uh, I wouldn't call it public speaking, but early on in my recovery, I used to go to a lot of uh,
Y-
like
y-
AA meetings.
Yep, I
So
know. Meetings, you have to. I mean, it's all part of the thing. And yeah, what you're doing now is definitely public speaking. If
yeah,
you go into an open mic night, that's public speaking. That's absolutely. I'm not. Again, it's not advice, but it's just planting a seed because I've been there. I've worked my whole life. And worked so many careers to support my creative stuff, my music, and everything else I've done. And if I could have had something that was somewhere in between that gave me enough money to kind of support everything else I was doing, that I would. That's a blessing that beyond imagination. So just something to consider. Right now, it's time to get happy with the happy Kiera for the happy moment. She's coming back. Stick with us for this. You didn't get to meet her the first time because she ran away when she saw you got here. But here we go. Okay, Kiera, meet Mike. Mike, meet Kiera.
Hello. Nice to
Hello.
meet you.
very nice.
So we were just talking about supporting yourself while you're doing your creative endeavors, and Mike has an interesting backstory to all this stuff. He's a singer-songwriter first,
Hmm.
and then became interested in comedy uh, by kind of being at what you did. As a matter of fact, you have the same. He was at an open mic night that was
Oh,
comedy and music, but a lot of comedians were going up, and he went up and did comedy. Now you did
oh,
the
just like
opposite.
that, out of the
Yeah,
blue.
yeah,
Wow, that takes guts. Really
yeah,
does.
yeah.
Yeah,
It really.
my set was 90 seconds long, and all I talked about was how no one tried to have sex with me when I was in prison.
Well, that's a blessing as well because wow,
Well, the
wow.
joke is that I was disappointed that they didn't, not because I wanted them to, because I wanted them to want to. You know what
Yeah, yeah. No, there's nothing
Right.
like I'm not even good enough for rapists.
Wow.
This was before the beard. I was 50 pounds lighter, and they didn't even look my way.
Wow. Well, you know what? Good for
Consider it a
you.
blessing.
Yeah, my big
Mm.
time. That's my biggest fear. This is like if I ever went to prison, I know I'm not gonna make it out of here without a larger butthole. I know I'm not. Enlarged butthole syndrome,
Mm.
Oh,
EBS. But that goes
Dead
now.
silence.
Now you're gonna get me back on my rant from this morning about the she's saying that a guy became gay because he was raped by a priest. I was like, no, no, that doesn't make you gay. Being raped can't make you gay. If you got raped and you decided you liked it, you were probably gay to begin with. But I don't think getting raped can make you gay. That was my thing from this morning. I don't know. Um, but that's a subject for another day.
oh, this
So
the
go ahead.
hat.
Yeah. You guys, you want to comment on it? No, no, you got nothing to say about that. Okay, I thought you had something to say. Uh, you just wanted to be wanted. Yeah, that's what he's saying. Absolutely. So Kiara, when she went to a comedy open mic night, I don't want to say I don't want to put words in your mouth, but this is my. You went there not knowing it was a comedy open mic night. You thought it was a
Yes.
music open mic night,
Yes.
and you decided to do music anyway, even though it was
Straight
a
up
comedy.
comic. Yep, comic. No other musicians whatsoever. All jokes. About 2 hours. I got up there and I was like, well, I'm here and I'm gonna sing. So I sang, and there was dead silence. And then I sat back down after my turn, and then I think like the last couple comics just let me have it.
They did.
It's like, yeah.
Oh, I would
They
pay
were
money
like,
for that. Do we have that
yeah.
on videotape anywhere of some comics
I
just
think it was before. I
uh,
don't know. I don't think I had an iPhone. I don't know. I think I was living life without taking videos.
I was
Mm.
thinking about that last night or a couple of days ago about the fact that this whole camera phone stuff is
Yeah.
really not that old. I was thinking back when we started when we were playing on Freeport with this band, 2006, 2007. The first
Yeah.
time I saw a girl with a flip phone doing video of me, and it couldn't have been long. It was like 2 minutes and a really bad quality. Now so it's only been since like 2008, 15 years or so that we had this number of smartphones where people are taking broadcast quality videos every 5 seconds and everything is on. It's really kind of a whole new thing that it wasn't really a part of our culture until very recently, but it feels like we've had it forever.
Did you notice my on the first day, the first gig I had with you guys, I brought a music stand and like a book of lyrics.
I didn't.
I
I don't
did.
remember that.
I
I don't.
did because I didn't use my phone. I had like a book, and I brought it with me, and we were on Venetian, and the wind was whipping, and like the pages were blowing, and Mike's like, "What the hell is that?"
Right.
You know.
How about Mike? You talking about your comedy that it has to be word for word and stuff. Do you use a phone or an iPad or anything like that to kind of refresh yourself, or are you going up there naked and God forbid you forget something, you're kind of fucked.
I've been in situations where I have the confidence to go up there without, like, with my phone in my pocket. I'll have a drink in the other hand, and then I'll completely forget what I was gonna say. So I spend 30 seconds of my set pulling out my phone. But it depends on not only whatever open mic that I'm at. If it's the Wiley show, then I'm telling jokes that I've been telling for a while that I'm confident that I won't fuck them up. So I don't really need to have my phone. But at the same time, if I'm trying like brand new stuff, like stuff that I haven't tried yet, I'll go up there and I'll be looking at my phone while I'm talking. It just depends, but I do forget a lot when I'm up there.
That's
Yeah,
interesting, and
it
I
happens.
I know it's happened to me too because I used to do. Yeah, here you go. There was a part of my life where I was doing a lot of motivational speaking, going around doing talks at libraries and this kind of stuff, and hour in my head where I had it rehearsed, but then you get in front of people, and all of a sudden, it's like there's a hole in my memory somewhere where, and I don't know where to go, and like now I know I'm stalling to hoping that it's going to click in at some point. And this was way before there was even anything. Nobody had a cell phone of any kind. I'm talking a very young man, probably 40 years ago. But
What
and
were you
so
speaking about?
depending on when I was a clinical hypnotherapist, I was helping people with weight loss issues, with smoking cessation.
Wait a minute. Hold on. What? How did you get into that? And did you have to be certified?
Yes,
Back up.
I was certified,
How did you get into this?
from magic. I was doing stage hypnosis when I was doing magic. It was kind of like stage comedy, but it was a magic act, but a lot of mentalism and all this stuff. But a lot of it was stage.
Did people become hypnotized?
Huh?
Did people
People,
become hypnotized? Did you hypnotize them?
there's no such thing as hypnotism, and
So
anybody who tells you that,
so
and
then why did you get
the
certified?
hypnotist doesn't know that. People who do hypnosis don't know there's no such thing as they believe in it. And I
So
believed
you
in it
believed in it?
thoroughly. Yes. But
Okay.
what hypnosis is, and this is just me, and again, this is just my opinion. I'm not giving you expert testimony here. Hypnosis is magic without props. It's a trick. It's just like a card trick. Pick a card, that kind of stuff, and you're setting up an illusion that becomes a reality in somebody's mind. Except with hypnosis, you're not using any props.
That makes
So so basically, yes, people and the power of suggestion and all the phenomena that come along with mind power and the power of the mind to influence the physical is absolutely real. But there's no such thing as the hypnotic state. And
Was this
so
in conjunction with when you were doing the audiovisual for that healer
no,
lady?
this was way before that.
So so what course, how long did it take you to become a certified hypnotist?
A weekend.
sense.
Okay.
Things
Okay.
were different then. There was a lot
Okay.
less regulation on this.
So you were sorry. So you
Wait,
were going around to libraries. What were you speaking about? Were you
well, it
hypnotizing the
depended on.
men?
There were different segments of it. Now, because what I offered as a clinical hypnotherapist at the time was basically different things: phobia management, weight management, smoking cessation, things like that. So I'd give talks about all the topics that I would help them get through. Now, I've had a lot of people, even to this day, who swear I'm the reason they gave up their addiction to. Uh, and I can't take credit for it. It's again, this is all they
Right.
did it, but and I believed at the time I was helping them do it, but it's all they did it. But so if I wanted to get more business on the smoking cessation side, I would go out and do a talk about smoking cessation, give up the butts, and have a room for 100 people and walk them through the hypnotic clinical hypnosis part of how you
So close your eyes and visualize kind of thing, or
that's
stare at this watch and and you will be. Was it that?
uh-uh.
Like what was it?
You want me to give you well, Mike, did you have a comment? You said something and your mic kind of muted out there. Did you want to have an input on here?
Sorry, she asked you how long it took you to get certified, and you said a weekend. I said, I'm glad you didn't spend like 4 years in college doing that.
Yeah, no, not 4 years. It was a intensive weekend. I think it was 12 hours a day for three. No, it was 4 hours on Friday night, and then 12 hours a day Saturday and Sunday for the whole thing. And then everybody got certified, whether they were any good at it or not, or really
Great.
understood it or not. Yeah, no, there was no regulation in the United States on this stuff at the time.
Success.
There should be a lot more, but.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example of how you start to build this idea of managing weight or managing addiction through your mind.
Okay.
Imagine Imagine that you're holding a lemon in your hand,
Okay.
and see that lemon. And then imagine in your other hand you have a very sharp knife.
Okay.
And then imagine you take that sharp knife and you slice the lemon, and you can see the juice coming out of it. And then you're going to take a part of that lemon and squeeze the juice into your mouth.
Okay.
Just by going through that process, your salivary
Mm.
glands start to manufacture a sour taste, and you start to create a little more saliva in your mouth. That
Right.
just that imagery is powerful enough to create the sensation of lemon in your mouth. And so if you have that power to create that sensation, you can do it with anything. You can do it with the rush you get from smoking a cigarette. You can do it from anything. If you remember it,
Ah.
if you can experience it enough, you can manifest the results without having to actually have the physical thing in your
So
your
are you
brain.
transferring like the sensation into a piece of gum? Would you do that?
They
Like
could do that, but no, that's where you build it. You start to
or
build it. It's a
like,
long thing.
because
So
it's also the motion. It's also like, for
y-
smoking or,
there's a whole
so
lot of things that you. Well, let's
right.
say goodbye to Govs before we continue, because it's
Goodbye, governors.
go. Hi,
It's
governors.
been fun.
Yeah, and I haven't checked the schedule. I'll check the schedule tomorrow to see if there's anything new added for governors for the weekend. But we'll say bye for now. I removed them. Tony's gonna get mad at me.